It's my pleasure to welcome you here at the Polish debate. The title of this debate is European Union, the United Kingdom and the Polish question. What's coming for the Polish minority? Question, why are we all here, is what is the latest issue with Poland? What is the issue with Polish people? What are the Polish relations? In order to counter this populism, we have to be everywhere. We have to be in institutions, we have to be in parliament, we have to be in councils, we have to be there. Because if we won't represent ourselves, then nobody else will.
Your Excellency, Mr. Waska, ladies and gentlemen, I am the first British Member of Parliament who was born in Poland, of Polish origin, and so it's a great honour and pleasure for me to be hosting this event this evening. The Polish Professionals Organisation, I think, in London ought to be praised, and I think that they do a superb job in highlighting the very wide range of Polish professional people, highly educated, highly skilled, and highly motivated people who have come from Poland to the United Kingdom. And they are quite extraordinary contributors to our society. They work hard, they integrate, they pay their taxes, and they contribute to the overall well-being of our community and our country. And if the Conservative Party is re-elected to office, if my party is re-elected to office, we will then also have a referendum on whether the United Kingdom ought to continue to be a member of the European Union. So we are potentially entering into a very political period. I think the Polish community is reaching that period where it ought to be very much organised and motivated and an intrinsic part in our national debate. And so I very much hope that some of you here will join political parties and, as Mr. Kawczynski has said, that you will stand for local council seats and will stand, even some of you, for Parliament.
Of course, some of us has different hobbies, some of us has different skills, some of us are right-wing, some of us are left-wing. It doesn't really matter, because each one of us has a certain goal, and we can all do it together.
Well, from the Polish community in West England, because education, aspiration, getting on, getting good education has always been part of the Polish community in the UK. It also happens to be directly opposite POST, and therefore my early memories are of using the theatre in POST, eating in POST, and meeting people in POST. I didn't necessarily think that 40 years later I'd still be going to POST on a regular basis as an invited guest. My generation were the children, my contemporary, my Polish contemporaries, were the children of the generation who came over immediately after the Second World War. So I grew up with stories of the Battle of Britain, breaking the Enigma codes, and of the huge contribution that the Polish community gave, not just, as we are going to talk about tonight, I suspect, to the economy and society and culture of the UK, but to the very survival of the UK, and to the fact that we are the country of the democracy that we are today. And that's something which has stayed with me throughout my life, as has the warmth and the intellect and the presence of the Polish community in West London. Migrants, including Poles, and claiming benefits, coming here to claiming benefits, is a slur. I think it's an unnecessary slur. The reality is, even the most recent announcement about not being able to claim benefits for one of the biggest Polish communities in this country, and I'm very pleased to be here.
Therefore, the Polish presence here is not something new. Whereas previous generations came as refugees, the new minority grew out of the EU membership. They came with a clear intention of contributing to this country's growth. Like the majority, like the previous refugees, they met with some hostility. The British media must take its share of the blame with their claims about benefits and the amount of crime committed by Poles. the major issue being the lack of context put with these actual articles. Usage of the media showed a dramatic increase in hate crimes against Poles, partly fueled by this negative media coverage. As the moderator of the Polish Media Issue Group, which I've already stated I've been going for 9 years, I'm pleased to actually say it does appear that there is a decrease in hate crimes, but more detailed research is required to make sure this is true. More has to be done by the British media, especially the BBC, to recognise the concerns of British Poles in their coverage and support our continued productive integration into British society. Overall, Poles have generally felt welcome, despite over 1 million Poles coming to the UK, either temporarily or permanently. There has never been a serious group form of rioting. Poles have generally respected British laws and have worked hard. Poles do not expect special treatment for them, but do expect to be treated as fellow EU citizens. Thank you very much for your time.
A smart minority, such as the Polish minority is and should be everywhere. We should have people in every single party lobbying for our rights and for our good. This is what other minorities do. Yes, of course, they have arguments, quarrels, misunderstandings about certain issues, but what they all do is try to support their own cause in that party. And we need to support the cause against the discrimination, but as well, we need to cooperate on all kinds of economical issues.
Its mission is that we want to see a confident British society in terms of identity, in terms of immigration, in terms of integration and opportunity, because if we feel if Britain was a confident society, it would be inclusive, welcoming to those who come to join it, and fair to those who are part of it. So to have a fair and confident society, we think you need to be fair to the citizens of Britain, you need to be fair to the migrants who come to contribute, and it's how you build public consent.
We're part of the European Union Club, where one of the advantages of being in the club is that we are allowed to go where we please, where we choose, freely within the borders of that club. Find the debate so difficult because it's all lumped in together. Immigration, huge word, and yet only about 18% of the total immigration to these islands are actually European, that devil, the European Union. The other, whatever the maths is, do it yourselves, is from elsewhere, 70–80%. Very little is heard about that side. A lot is heard about the European Union side. We are the second largest, I believe, migrants into these islands. We are the ones that seem to be demonised. Why? I have no idea. The press seems to be doing a hatchet job on us, that migration is a good thing. I also believe that we do need some controls on our borders, as we are one of the frontiers in the same way that Poland is with Ukraine, or Italy is with Italy and Greece are with those countries across the Mediterranean.
It takes time to assimilate. It takes time to find your own feet, whether it's career-wise or educationally or family. But I don't think we should look back, we should look forward. Our policy as a Conservative, and actually on my own, is to have the free movement for labour and for residency.
I have learned a lot and I have seen a lot, and that's also how I have learned about the real situations Polish people and families in the UK face, and that's how I have learned a lot about the legal side of things. And I started last year campaigning about for EU citizens' rights, so not only for Polish people's rights.
I challenge you to present statistics that at least, well, obviously there's always a marginal kind of point of mistake, right, whatever. But just to present statistics that reflect reality, because it's a matter of facts against feeling.
I'm a British subject by birth, a Polish citizen by choice. And with that said, I was asked to stand as a Conservative Party candidate in 2006 for the local elections. I am a politics graduate, and I also ran in the early 80s. I was the best political agent in 82 for the Tory Party. I also stood in Bristol. There were no problems with the Polish surname. Now with the Polish surname, it's a huge, huge problem. I was even asked, would I be prepared to change my surname. And as I said, the name was good enough for my father to crawl up the hill at Monte Cassino. It's good enough to be a Conservative Party candidate. And furthermore, the third candidate was Asian. And I said to the English lady, would you like to ask Mukesh, would you like to change the colour of his skin? My name is part of my ethnicity. So all I say is
putting a little bit statistics and figures into that, and a bit of laugh and everything, and at the end people were a bit more relaxed about the immigration issue, and you know, it was also amazing that on many occasions people said that they will vote for me, so first time for the Labour Party, which is very, very surprising. So that's the experience. So I think the advice is that we should be ourselves and we should share our experiences, and actually we shouldn't be scared and be afraid to get into those debates and challenging people's fears. Now, the second issue is trying to start a proper evidence-based and fair debate on EU migration. We talk about it all the time, but to ourselves, and the British public don't hear it, and the task is to get this message across to the British public, to change the perceptions, and that's very difficult. I mean, completely ignored.
And don't ask the government, leaders, you yourselves go out there, mingle, network. You know, you are also on British soil. As they say, when in Rome, do what the Romans do.
Thank you very much. We're quite close to time. I'm going to come back and ask the panel to give us their very short political broadcast advice at the end. But before I give them time to just think about how to do that really in 30 seconds.